Welcome to my final Lost. Season 1 episode review video, as out of this 3-part finale, these 2 parts, part 2 and part 3, actually aired on the same day, so I'm going to include them in the same video. But before I get into all that, though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Lost, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention. I'll also put it in the description. If that's the case, you find out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. Again, this is part 2 and part 3, and I've watched Lost before 3 times. Really like the show, binged it a couple times, and I wanted to let it resonate, so that's why I'm talking about the show and watching about the show again, but I'm not the only one that's watching Lost. The legendary Crazy Coffee Man, who you see in my comment section for various videos, is actually watching Lost for the first time. So join us on the journey and let's discuss this awesome and amazing show. No spoilers, only spoilers up until the episode that I'm currently talking about. But with all that said, this will be Lost, Season 1, Episode 24 and 25. The title of this episode, or episodes, is called Exodus Part 2 and Exodus Part 3. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. Again, the Season 1 finale, Part 2 and Part 3. So we start with Claire's baby crying, and Charlie comes over and tells Claire that everyone's leaving. And Claire says she can't go anywhere due to the baby. No one or nobody ever taught me how to do this. Like, she wasn't planning on keeping the baby, remember. Charlie asks Saeed for a gun as he wants to protect Claire. Saeed tells him get Claire and her child to the caves. That's what she needs. Jack, Kate, and Locke go into the Black Rock to find the crate of dynamite. Russo did what she was asked to do, and now she's going to leave. Hurley is going to stay and stick with Arzt, and Kate finds the explosives. Arzt thinks Hurley is bored by him, and Arzt continues to ramble about stuff, mostly complaining. Jack, Locke, and Kate bring out the dynamite very carefully. Arzt freaks out as he knows what happens to dynamite in 90-plus degree weather. I think that's what he said. I don't remember quite what he said as far as what degree it was. While attempting to handle the dynamite carefully, Arzt himself accidentally triggers one of the sticks and it explodes, killing Arzt. Even though I knew it was going to happen, it actually made me jump. I was watching the episode in my room, which I usually don't do, and I'm like right next to the monitor, and the sound, made me jump. Anyway, at the airport, we have Sun spilling coffee all over Jin's shirt, and Jin goes to the bathroom to clean up. Meanwhile, airport security releases Saeed and apologizes to him for the delay. In the bathroom, Jin encounters a casually dressed Caucasian man who asks him for a paper towel in English. When Jin indicates that he speaks no English, the man speaks and switches to Korean. Seeming somewhat more menacing now, he reveals that he works for Mr. Pike and knows that Jin is attempting to run away with Sun. He tells Jin to complete his delivery of the watch to an associate in Los Angeles. If Jin does anything else, he says Jin will lose Sun. We catch up with Michael, Jin, Sawyer, and Walt on the raft. Michael sings Bob Marley to Sawyer's surprise. That doesn't surprise me at all. Shannon cries to Saeed, saying hiding is just too much. Shannon's carrying around Boone's things, and Saeed says that he'll carry them for her. Kate checks in with Hurley, asking if he's okay. Hurley thinks Arzt died because of him and tells Kate, I'm kind of bad luck. Uh-oh, the numbers have come back. The remaining group members decide to continue their attempt to carry the dynamite. They wrap the sticks in wet cloth as Arzt had demonstrated. Locke suggests that they carry a redundant backup in case one of the carriers blows up. The other will still be able to blow up the hatch. Locke asks Jack about ever playing Operation, the game that would buzz. And so Locke's playing around with the dynamite, and he goes, eh. And Jack's like, oh, you like to play games, huh? And Locke says, absolutely. Backgammon, Locke likes that type of stuff. Charlie made a baby carrier for Claire. And then on the beach, Saeed is leading the group back to the caves, awaiting Jack and, Hurley, Kate, and whomever else was supposed to be with them's return. And Charlie and Claire are alone on the beach when Russo runs up telling Charlie she needs to see Saeed urgently. When Claire runs off to get Saeed, Russo begins asking Claire if she can hold her baby. And Claire tries to make several excuses why she can't give Danielle Russo the baby. And then Claire sees a strange scar on Russo's arm and has a short, ambiguous flashback to a struggle between Russo and herself. And then back at the flashback stuff, at a hotel near the airport, Charlie looks for his stash before leaving for his flight. A girl from the previous night is in his bed, and she needs a bump of cocaine. As Charlie finds, or no, it's heroin actually. I thought bumps were just for cocaine, but I don't know anything about drugs, so who knows. As Charlie finds the drugs, he asks if he has, or she asks if he has any left. He says he's out lying and trying to escape in a hurry while claiming he will send for her a free, so he'll send her a free Drive Shaft album. She can tell he's lying and attacks him for the drugs. After a struggle in the hotel room, Charlie refuses to let go of his heroin. She calls Charlie pathetic and storms out of the room. Soon, Charlie, Saeed, they return to find Claire knocked out. When she comes to, she claims that her baby has been taken. Charlie gets upset and hits Saeed, and Saeed responds with, "Do not hit me again." That was kind of a funny moment, even though it was a serious moment. I just thought it was funny that Saeed, "Do not hit me again." Saeed guesses that Russo intends to attempt an exchange of the baby, which Claire has just named Aaron, for her own child, Alex, with the others. We will know more about Alex eventually. Spoiler alert. A hint alert. Locke, Kate, and Jack all want to volunteer to carry the dynamite, so they draw straws for the responsibility. Hurley points out that Jack has some arts on him. Jack draws the long stick, so Kate and Locke carry the dynamite. Walt points out that Sawyer is reading the messages that everybody wrote, and then Walt learns about Sawyer's long-term search for revenge for this Sawyer character. With little daylight left, Saeed and Charlie go towards the black smoke. Saeed gives Charlie a gun and says this isn't about revenge. Don't make it personal. Claire catches up and wants to join, but they don't let her. Claire tells Charlie to get Aaron back. He's getting him back, he promises. Back on the raft, Michael and Walt sit in, or actually back on the flashback, Michael and Walt sit in their airport waiting for their flight. I should say Michael and Walt sit in the airport, not their airport, waiting for the flight, and Walt is absorbed in his Game Boy Advance SP, and Michael is frustrated that they can't connect. He gets up claiming to need to call work, but instead calls his mother, and expresses his aspiration to his mother and offers to pay his mother to take care of Walt. While Michael is on the phone, Locke passes by being pushed in his wheelchair. When Michael hangs up, Walt is right next to him asking for new batteries for his game. He may, and probably did, hear the whole conversation. Now back on the raft, Michael's letting Walt drive the raft. Walt asks why Walt asks why Michael and his mom didn't stay together, and Michael's like, well, we tried, we just went in different directions. The raft's rudder breaks off, and Sawyer dives into the water after it, risking his life, and then the rudder is hauled back to the raft. Michael discovers the gun in Sawyer's shirt, but doesn't tell the others. Back on the island, Sun tells Shannon back at the caves that Boone died bravely. Claire tells them no one's punishing us here. There's no such thing as fate. On their journey, they encounter, the the drug smuggler's plane, and Saeed, ignorant of Charlie's junkie past, mentions it's full of heroin. So now Charlie sees those statues that are on that smuggler's plane, and they all have heroin in them. We don't know what happens with that statue, though, yet. Hurley asks what's in the hatch thing, and he thinks of all of his favorite things, and Locke says he thinks it's hope is what's inside the hatch. And then as they walk through the jungle, Hurley mentions whoever named this place Dark Territory is genius, and that's what ends the episode 24, part 2. Starting with episode 25, part 3, again, Exodus, part 3. On their way back to the hatch, Jack and Kate see a small cloud of black smoke move in an unnatural way through some trees, followed by the rumbling of the monster, the smoke monster. According to the plan, Jack and Kate drop their packs, but Kate keeps hers on. Or Jack and Locke drop their packs, but Kate keeps hers on. Locke wants to get a glimpse of the monster, and it almost ends up under it. His leg is caught by the monster, which drags him through the jungle. Jack grabs Locke's arms, and the two are dragged into the opening of a underground cavern, with Jack preventing Locke from being pulled to the bottom. Though Locke pleads with Jack to let him get dragged under, Jack instead tells Kate to grab dynamite out of his bag and drop one down the hole, revealing that he had switched the content of their packs. Kate drops the dynamite down the tunnel, causing an underground explosion and resulting in black smoke similar to that seen before coming out of a nearby hole on the horizon. It moves in a bizarre, almost supernatural way and disappears, all in less than a second. The hold on locks, it gets looser, and or the hold on lock that the thing has gets looser, and they are able to pull him out of the hole. Michael finds out that Jin may learn some English from the notepad that Sun has given him. Michael also gives Jin back the Rolex, saying it's yours, and Jin says, you, and gives the Rolex back to Michael. He thanks him for it. Sun made Claire some tea. She tells Claire that Aaron is a beautiful name. What does it mean? Charlie will bring your baby back, she says. Saeed and Charlie encounter a trap set by Russo, which injures Charlie. Charlie's wound to the forehead bleeds profusely, and Saeed tells him to go back to the camp, but Charlie, of course, refuses. Saeed cuts open a round of ammunition, pours the gunpowder into the wound, and sets it on fire to cauterize the injury. And then back to the flashback in room 2342, two of the numbers, 2342, of his hotel. Hurley wakes up late for his flight due to a localized power outage, apparently caused by Hurley plugging too many devices into a electrical outlet in his room. On the way out of the hotel, Charlie yells at him for holding up a full elevator. In a mad dash for the airport, he experiences several mishaps, including a flat tire, during which his car slows down from 42 kilometers to 16, then 15, then 8, and then finally 4, the numbers in reverse order, and arriving at the wrong terminal. He runs through the airport, sweaty as shit, passing a team of soccer players wearing the jerseys with the numbers 4, 8, 6, 15, 16, 24, 42, or now I'm forgetting the numbers all of a sudden. You get the deal. In numerical order. He buys an electric scooter from an old man for $1,600 and manages to get to the terminal just as they are closing the gate. At gate 23, Hurley finds the boarding doors closed, but the gate attendant is able to get them to reopen the doors for him, and he hugs her before boarding, like gives her a big bear hug because he's really happy. And she gets it. She's like, oh, cool, this guy's hugging me. She's not weirded out by it. And Hurley is repeating the numbers while walking. Kate asks him about number 23 because that's the number, that's the amount that the one guy from way back in the season, I can't remember his name, but it was in the episode Tabula Rasa. I might be saying that wrong, but he got $2,300 or $23,000 for I can't remember what number it is, but that's what he got for getting her turned into the marshal. And then Locke reveals on the island that the reason he wanted to fall in the cavern is because it was his destiny, and he felt the island was testing him. Locke says Jack is a man of science, and Locke is a man of fate. Key thing for Lost. He tells Jack that the island chose him too, as it was his destiny. Locke says the path ends at the hatch. Jack tells Locke that he doesn't believe in destiny, and Locke says, yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. Oceanic Airline staff report to Locke that they have lost the wheelchair normally used to load disabled passengers onto the plane, and he must be manually carried onto the plane by 2 attendants. When he drops a pamphlet from his seat, he is unable to reach it. He is clearly frustrated by the whole situation and struggles to maintain his dignity. Meanwhile, Jack, Kate, Locke, and Hurley arrive at the hatch that night on the raft. Sawyer tells Michael that he has the patience of a saint, and Michael asks him if he wants to die. He's either a hero or wants to die. Sawyer says he's not a hero. The radar sweep turns up a boat in the distance. Back on the island, or in the jungle, when Saeed and Charlie reach the beach, I guess at this point, with the black smoke, there are no other people, just a pier burning the smoke. The sound of a baby crying alerts them to Russo hiding in the bushes. She cries and tells them that she overheard the others saying that they were going to go after the boy. And she thought if she brought Aaron to them, they would return her child. But her child isn't a child anymore, so she returns the baby. You know, her child was a child back in the day. Now it's been 16 years since Russo's been on the island. Back at the hatch, they carefully set up the dynamite on the hinge of the hatch. Jack tells Kate off to the side, if we survive tonight, we're going to have a lock problem. They are about to set the dynamite off when Hurley notices the numbers engraved on the hatch's side. Terrified, he yells at them not to light it up, but Locke lights the fuse anyway. Hurley tries to stamp out the fuse, repeating, "The numbers are bad! The numbers are bad!" But Jack tackles him, and then the dynamite explodes. Back on the raft, whatever is on the radar is getting closer. We think it's a boat. And then they finally, after debating, fire the single flare, and the boat approaches, and the boat shines a light on them. It's a group of 4 men. Our members, Walt, Sawyer, Jin, and Michael are ecstatic on finding rescue. The boat's captain initially seems friendly, but then suddenly demands, "We're going to have to take the boy," a famous line in Lost. "Just give us the boy," and Sawyer tries to pull his gun, but he is shot by one of the other crewmen and falls into the water. Jin jumps in the water to try and save Sawyer, and the strangers overpower Michael and kidnap Walt. And as they sail off, one of the crewmen throws a explosive onto the raft, destroying it. Walt screams, "Help me, Dad," and Michael screams, "Walt!" Russo was right. The others wanted the boy. She just didn't know which boy they wanted. Saeed and Charlie take Aaron back to the caves where mother and baby are reunited, and Shannon seeks out and embraces Saeed. One of the statues filled with heroin is in Charlie's backpack. Finally, all of the passengers aboard Oceanic Flight 815, they take their seats unaware of each other and the relationships that will form as they casually engage in friendly smiles and gestures to strangers. Shannon frantically searches for her asthma medicine, and Boone pulls out the medicine out of his pocket with a smile. As Hurley boards, Walt looks up from his Game Boy for a moment and smiles as Hurley gives him a thumbs up. Hurley smiles back, sitting down and settling in with his headphones and comic book, which has a polar bear on it. And Hurley's like all sweaty, like his shirt's all wet and stuff because he's been running through the airport. Arts helps Claire put her bag in the overhead compartment. And the music that's going on right now is so good. Lost is a very well composed show with just excellent music in the right moments, and it works. And they pry open the hatch, back at the hatch, of course. They pry open the hatch to reveal a deep, dark metal tunnel. A ladder with broken rungs can be seen near the top of the tunnel. Jack and Locke stare down into the pit before them, ending the episode and the season. Wow. This is great television, I'll say. I'm going to score the episode a 9.6 out of 10. And then, how do you pick a character in this character of the episode in this jam-packed double episode? I'll go with John Locke, but many did amazing things. Every character is the character of the episode. Lost has all these characters on the show, and not many of them are characters I don't like. These characters. Shannon's kind of annoying, but she still is important at times. Claire is annoying, but again, she's, so awesome episode. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Lost and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section and interact with me and the legendary Crazy Coffee Man. What would you score this double episode? Since they aired on the same day, again, I did both of them in this review video. What would you rate it, and whom, if you had to choose, would be your character of the episode? You can name multiple characters. I said Locke, but everybody really did well. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDM TV.